Okay, everybody, if you're back, this is video number 3, and this is the final video for your Unit 3 crime scenes essay. If you've reached this video but you have not completed your outline yet, all the way up until the conclusion paragraph, then you are on the wrong video. You want to go back and watch videos 1 and 2, how to do your introduction, how to do your body paragraphs. Yet, if you are here, then you are ready to start putting your essay together and finishing it off and ultimately be submitting it to paper. Now, there's a couple things you're going to need to notice. First things first, you might see a new post here on Google Classroom that says Unit 3 Crime Scenes Final Essay, 100 Test Points. When you open that up, that document is going to look like this. You've seen this before if you've been in this class. This is where you're going to put your final draft together once you're finished. But what I want to talk about first is putting the conclusion together and ultimately formatting it properly and then getting it ready to submit to paper. So this is an example outline right here for you to look at. Now mine is not completed. You can see this is just a sample. I have some things done, but the rest of it is blank. Yours should be completed all the way up until the conclusion paragraph. So all of these boxes, if you have 4 paragraphs or if you have 3 paragraphs for your body, should be completed unless you or until you are ready to move on to your conclusion paragraph. Now, the conclusion is very kind of straightforward. First thing you want to do is you want to restate your thesis statement from your introduction. So, what I do is I go right back up to my introduction. I find my thesis statement, which is that last statement that identifies the different groups and categories that you're going to be writing about. I'm going to hit Control C to copy it. I'm going to come all the way back down here to this part right here. I'm going to hit Control V to paste. Now, I don't want to sound like a robot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this thesis statement just a little bit, just so it doesn't sound exactly word for word what it sounded like in the introduction, because you don't want to repeat yourself. So I could say something like, therefore, as I'm trying to think, therefore, as many groups and categories suffer when a crime is committed, the 4 main groups or categories that suffer, and I'm going to get rid of this when the crime is committed, I'm going to have the R part there, just so I'm kind of saying the same thing, but it's in slightly different words. You can reword it however you want, as long as you still address the topics that you wrote about, the categories and groups that you wrote about. So again, mine says, therefore, as many groups and categories suffer when a crime is committed, the 4 main groups or categories that suffer are direct victims, family and loved ones, society at large, and offenders. Okay? And you should have improved all of this in your essay, in your body paragraphs. Now it says summarize the main points in the essay. So what you want to do in this box right here is basically just do a quick recap. Don't say essay anywhere in this response, but just summarize, what were some of the big ideas that your essay addressed? Again, this all depends on your essay. So I can't really write anything here for you because you have to write it yourself. When I say summarize, I'm talking about just a few sentences. Don't overwrite. Maybe 2 to 3 at max. So what I'd like you to do in just a second is to pause the video now, rewrite the thesis statement here, and then write a summary of the main points of your essay here. So pause the video and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then you see there's one last box. Again, the boxes A and B should be completed, which means you're now on to box C, final thoughts and implications. Don't get distracted by the word implication. Just kind of focus on final thoughts. This is where you kind of have a closeout sentence to kind of wrap it all up. And you can close it out any way you want, but a final sentence that kind of just ties everything together or closes out your essay. So it might involve a little bit of thought, but I think you can come up with your own. If you want to check it with me, you can. But go ahead and pause the video now and write a final thought on this whole topic. Okay, if you are back, then I'm assuming that your conclusion is done, which means that most of all these boxes, if not all of these boxes for your outline should be completed, which means you are now ready to move to the final stage of assembling this essay into a final draft. But before you do that, you have to kind of put it all together. Now, we've done this before, but I want to kind of show you this again. It's very simple. It does it automatically. So if you go back to Google Classroom, you will see that you have this post, Unit 3, Crime Scenes Final Essay. You want to open that up, and when you open that up, it should look like this. So pause the video, make sure that you have this open along with your outline, both of these documents. Okay, if you're back, I'm assuming you have both these documents open, which means you're now ready to put it together. So first things first, you want to change the header. So you want to delete name. You want to put your name in. So I'll put my name in for just the purpose of this essay. Then you want to delete the date and put the current date that you are writing on, or maybe the day that you're going to submit it, which is 3/6/24, because you're going to submit these on next Wednesday. Then you want to put the period, so whatever period you are, 1 or 2 or period 7/8. Every period, every class is different. So you want to change that. And then you leave this the same. This is fine as it is. So pause the video and change the heading now on your paper. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming you have a nice heading here with your name, the date, the period, and the essay type. Now you see here where it says title. Don't worry about a title now. You can title it when you're finished. We're going to put this paper together. So if I click over here somewhere, it should indent it. See how that cursor moved in? I have it set up so where it's indented and ready to double space automatically for you. So go ahead and click the cursor right there, and you should be ready to now put your paper together. So what I'm going to do is just going to come back to my outline. I'm going to go to my introduction paragraph. I'm going to copy this first hook. And remember, the hook is the opening sentence. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to hit Control V to paste it. And I pasted it. Now, if you look, you can see that it put the hook in there and that it's automatically double spaced. So you don't have to double space it yourself. I just go to the end here and I hit space bar, come back to my outline. I'm going to grab part B, the background information. Remember, be careful that you don't grab the whole box, that you just grab the text itself. Control C to copy. Come back over here, Control V to paste. Another space. And then I'm going to come back here, grab my thesis statement, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And my introduction is done. So what I'd like you to do now is to pause and put your introduction together. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming you have your introduction already put on this document, which means you're ready to now go to your first body paragraph. So all I simply do is my cursor is right here. If I hit enter, and then the tab button in the upper left-hand corner, it should tab it in automatically to make sure I indent, because you want to indent each paragraph. So my cursor should be right here. And then I'm going to come down here to my body paragraph 1. I'm going to grab my opening sentence. I'm going to copy it, Control C, come back here and paste it, Control V. Come back over here again, get my first example, Control C, Control C, and then come back over here and paste it, Control V, and you can see it's kind of putting the paragraph together. Now, I don't have anything here, but you would do the next one. You just do it in order as you see it in the outline. So I'm just going to grab what I've typed here as my examples, put them all in. So again, just keep kind of putting it together. And then I'm putting all the things that I wrote in. Again, you do it in order that you outlined it. Make sure you're spacing after the periods. And then I'll put my final sentence in here, a closing statement. Control C, Control V. And now my first paragraph is done. Now your paragraph should be much longer than this, because I didn't have everything completed in all my boxes where you should, right? So at the end, what do I do again? I put my cursor here, I hit enter. Then I tab it in again to indent it for the next paragraph. Then I come down here and I get my body paragraph 2, my opening, and I copy it. And then I paste it, and then I'm going to put the second whole body paragraph together. And then you just do that process for every paragraph, each one stopping to indent and go to a new line for each new paragraph only. So every time you go to a new paragraph, you create a new paragraph on your document. If you have 4, you should have 4 body paragraphs. And then ultimately, you'll put your conclusion together. So when you're all done, you'll have anywhere from 5 to 6 paragraphs on this page. So what I want you to do now is to pause, put your whole essay together, and make sure that it looks proper, and do that now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have all of your essay put together. It should be much longer than mine. I'm expecting anywhere from maybe two, three, maybe even 4 pages, depending on how much you wrote. It all depends on how much you wrote. So you just have a couple things that you want to do now. So now you want to come back up here and give it a title. So you want to delete the word title, keep that cursor right there centered in the middle, and you want to come up with a creative title on your essay. A boring title will be like, "Who suffers when a crime is committed?" Now, why is that a boring title? Because that's the topic of your paper. Everybody, I don't want everybody to have the same title. I want you to come up with a creative title for your essay, right? So, think about what your essay was about, what your essay focused on, what your essay argued, and maybe you can grab some kind of interesting title to explain this essay to your reader. So, go ahead and try to write a title for your essay now. All right, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have a title here. I didn't want to write a title, so I'm just gonna pretend like I wrote one. All right, even though I didn't write one, I just don't want to give you a title. I want you to come up with your own. So you should be almost completed, which means that your essay is put together, all done. You got a title, you got the proper heading. What I would do is give it one more read through, look for some grammar issues, read it all through to yourself really quick, and then you are ready to submit it to paper. And this is the final step, and this is for a class grade. So this is on PowerSchool. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to open up a new tab. So I'm going to open up a new tab right here. You want to go over here to your SD206 bookmarks and click on that. Scroll down, go to Clever, and you should be able to open up Clever. You log in with your Google account. I'm sure you're all very familiar with Clever at this point. And somewhere on your page, you should see this icon for paper, or maybe it's on the district page, but you should have an icon for paper. And you want to click on that and open that up, and that should take you into a new window that opens up paper for you. Now, your paper is going to be very different than mine because I have the teacher version and you have the student version. So again, you can see I have a list of my students here, and I can have see all my students' assignments. But what you're ultimately going to do then, I'm just kind of looking to see if I can find a student example. Oh, so I'm going to view it as student. So again, this might be what yours looks like. It's okay. Yeah, this is. So this is, I'm pretending to be a student here. It probably has your classes listed up here. You can see my classes that I teach up here. You want to go ahead and click on your class. For this one, I'm going to click on just pre-AP English, which is what you're going to click on. And then you'll have two options: chat with the tutor, get writing reviewed. You're going to go ahead and click on get writing reviewed. And then you're going to upload your work for review. So you click on that. And then you're going to browse your files. You can go to your Google Drive, and you can find your file that you just completed. Again, your file should be titled Unit 3 Crime Scenes. If you're struggling with that, you could always save your file to your computer and then browse your files. I'm pretty sure you guys just know how to upload a file, but if you're not too sure how to do that, make sure that you call me over or have another student show you how to do that. So I'd like you to pause your video now, open up paper, and upload your paper to be reviewed. All right, if you're back, you're super close to being finished here. I know you're probably tired of this essay, so let's get this finished. All right, so you should have a paper uploaded here. You don't see one here because I'm not doing it. Then you want to title your work. You can title it Unit 3 Crime. In fact, I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Unit 3 Crime Scenes Essay. That was the title of our assignment, but you can title it whatever you want. What type of file are you submitting? You're submitting an essay. What class is this for? You click your class, pre-AP English. What language are you submitting in? I'm sure you're submitting in English because this is English class. Then it's going to ask you, do you have any other instructional resources to upload? You do not, so don't have to do that. And then it's going to let your tutor know what you need help with. So if you have any questions, you can type them in there. So some things that you might want your reviewer to look for. Otherwise, you can leave that blank. A lot of students are, will type something in like, please check my grammar and make sure that the essay is organized properly. Organized properly. And you could also say, please review my examples and make sure I have argued my points clearly. Again, you can type whatever you want in here if you want them to look at, but you can always keep it pretty simple. Check my grammar, make sure the essay is organized properly, or you can just leave it blank. I mean, they will still give you feedback no matter if you don't type anything in these boxes, so you don't have to. But there's something particular you want them to look for, you type that in there. All that should be good. You submit it for review. You click submit for review, and then you gotta wait. It'll tell you how many hours you'll get it back. You usually get it back a little bit sooner. However, if they say 24 hours, it might be 24 hours. Um, Sometimes it's anywhere from 6 to 24, depending on how backed up the reviewers are at paper. And then you'll check back here when the time has elapsed, and you should find a copy of your review, which we've seen before. And then you'll ultimately come back to your document, and you'll make those corrections on here, and then you'll submit this on Google Classroom on March 6th for a final draft. And that's the draft that I will grade. Right. So I know that was a lot there, and I understand, but putting this all together, finishing this, well, you'll be done with Unit 3. You'll be done with this essay, and I'm super proud of you. Congratulations, and let me know if you need any help. And that's that. Good luck to you.